You want to stop tyranny? Well, so does he. Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
I'm just going to do a bit of psychoanalyzing for myself here on air, and I know a lot of you are going with the same thing. And just be honest with the audience of great people. I've always been able to deal with the New World Order because I understand its operations and I know we can beat it. But I have been shocked by how fast they've been moving and accelerating everything with this giant de-evolutional jump that they've launched. And to really come to grips with the fact that they're really going to carry it all out. So when you read the UN reports where they say they're going to reduce the world population to 500 million, they really intend on killing almost everybody. And they've got a rollout plan on how to do this. So this lockdown that I predicted in the film Endgame 14 years ago, it's just the training wheels so that when they really hit you with the bioweapon that Dick Cheney talked about legitimizing the use of in the PNAC for Building America's Defenses document in April 2000, people will follow orders and go die in their houses. So I just want you to know that they're more pissed at me now than they've ever been pissed. And they don't want to make me into a martyr. But the globalists are really making decisions right now whether they're just going to wipe us out in the next couple of weeks, next few months. I mean, they are pissed. And they know you're waking up, and they know people are flocking to InfoWars, and that basically the InfoWarsization is happening. It's happening with medical doctors, it's happening with law enforcement, it's happening with other talk show hosts. And my mission has been greatly carried out because I knew they were going to launch this, and then it's going to get very dystopian very, very quickly. Then they're going to start killing folks. You know, walk up, shoot you right in the head. The left's getting ready for their revolution. They're going to take your kids, they're going to take your money, they're going to take your health, they're going to take your life. Then you go read Reddit on the Communist Chinese, and you see how they talk about how much they hate America. And you go hang around the left. I mean, these are very bad people. And the dumbing down has created incredible psychological corruption. And so my job always was to popularize these horrible globalist blueprints so that if they ever were able to actually do it, which they're on schedule pretty much now, a little bit behind, that people would go, oh my God, we've got to fight this. Because you see, everything with their system counts on it incrementally being rolled out and them having different reasons for why they do this or do that, but it all goes together like a Lego set and is constructed. And in the final phase, when all the pieces they built separately of other little pieces start locking together and people see the horror of it, the globalists think it'll be too late then for you to resist. You'll be too poisoned, too dumbed down. They'll have too many combat robots and other surveillance systems. Humans will be so domesticated we won't even know how to take care of ourselves. We'll be obsolete at the point they kill everybody. But everything you've seen so far is just a prelude. But I knew that if we could popularize, where it wasn't just academic, this understanding that the public, it would become part of legend that this was coming. And then when it came, we would have enough resistance formed to derail their operation and stop it. Now, their argument is it's survival of the fittest, social Darwinism, and that you deserve to be killed. I kind of agree with that. I don't deserve to be killed, and I'm not going to join them. So I'm telling listeners and viewers, if you want to live, you better wake up now and realize this is all real, okay? I'm real. God's real. The devil's real. You're real. And you better decide which side you're on right now, because they're coming to literally steal your soul. Yeah, this isn't run by humans. We'll be right back. Stay with us. This is the beginning of the end of humans on this planet. This is the beginning of the planetary extermination being carried out by Satan and his servants. It is an interdimensional alien attack. They're working with collaborators, ladies and gentlemen, who believe that they're going to merge with the system and become AI gods. for their collaboration. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thought I'd just take you to the bottom of the rabbit hole there. That's what they believe. The globalists believe they're communicating with interdimensional entities that have given them advanced technology or advanced ideas, the impetus or the system that basically spurs their twisted creativity, their inspiration. Tucker Carlson has really turned into a thoroughbred of pro-human populist enlightenment, and that's a good thing. I think that's who he always was, but he couldn't believe that things were so bad. He thought people like me were wrong. He knows that's not the case now. And I wouldn't take the credit for it, but I think all of us should take the credit for it who've been in the pro-human liberty movement, the anti-New World Order movement, the anti-Satan movement, the common sense movement, the life movement, the Genesis movement. That's really what we are. The planet itself is a Genesis jump point for incredible things we're going to build and grow together. And we will make it. We will make it. The planet will make it. We'll go into the future. And then we'll look back and realize that this was all like a little postage stamp compared to the wider universe. But it's a postage stamp that delivered this letter, this information, our genetic code, to a very important destination. And then this creation won't even matter. It'll just be rolled up like a scroll and be nothing but data. But we will go on through the metamorphosis to the next level, and the next, and the next, and the next. Because the eye has not seen and the ear has not heard what God has in store for us. Until these days begin. And for every acceleration of evil on this planet, there is an acceleration of good. I'm going to stop right there. There is no doubt that the planet's being held hostage. There's no doubt they're using COVID-19 to kill the economy, to punish nationalists. There's no doubt they're using it to roll out the 5G. There's no doubt they're using it to roll out total censorship of everyone and anyone. The world was shocked just 2 weeks ago when Facebook and Twitter and Google were banning people that said, I'm going to go out and exercise my First Amendment. I'm going bankrupt. Or I can't go to the hospital and get the surgery I need because it's closed, everybody but COVID-19 patients, and the hospitals are empty. They would ban those people. Now, they banned the video, as you know, on Sunday that had 5 million views, was going on its way straight up to have 20, 30, 40, 50 million views. And that one press conference of those two doctors just laying out known admitted facts and numbers was banned for violating YouTube's terms of service. Their press conference, their video, their YouTube site, or their clinics. Good doctors in good standing, talking to American people like we're 5 years old, explaining to us how things work. And it's the emperor's new clothes. The emperor's butt naked. The con men told him that only royalty can see the clothes. He can't see the clothes, so he thinks, well, I must not be royalty. I better not tell folks I can't see it. Everybody else sees a naked king in underwear walking down the street, but if they laugh at him, they'll get thrown in the dungeon. And so no one will say, hey, the king is wearing no clothes. But that's what this is. This whole thing is a giant lie. USA Today confirms what we already know. But we have to have it fact-checked. That a COVID-19 entry gets you $40,000 out of this federal slush fund. And you get $4,000 if it's some other slush fund. So they're coding everyone as COVID-19. That right there is a giant, complete, and total fraud. And then if you know why that's going on, you understand the whole thing. This has all been coded and architected and planned and ironed out for decades. They've been getting ready under Disease X drills for the response you've now seen. And this activated emergency responses of the WHO and the global government. And that's all on record, that's all been prepared and ready. And you talk to the public and they go, oh, nothing's planned, I don't plan stuff. When it's like saying the street signs aren't planned, or the roads aren't planned, or GPS isn't planned, or the night sky full of satellites isn't planned. It's a plan and you're not in it. And when you act like a lazy, dumb person, when the red indicator lights are all flashing and don't stand up to this, you green light the total, absolute end of humanity. This isn't some revolution where the workers get in power. This is a revolution where there are no more men and women in the next phase, and then we're all gone. And that's now official. NBC News. The end of humanity's here. Great. We're going to merge the machines, and then those will phase out to this new Silicon God. Total cult, totally dangerous, totally insane, run by the richest people in the world who want immortality and have been promised by this evil force immortality if they first kill the humans. Not a science fiction movie, the real world. And now that's what they're pushing, and that's what they're saying. And there's a couple articles today about how now the big video game companies, there's been leaks that they're being directed, stories on Infowars.com, to not show, and I already saw this without getting the documents, to not show men as masculine and not show women as feminine, but to merge the two. Well, if you read Brave New World, published in 1932, almost 90 years ago, and then you read Brave New World Revisited, I keep going back to this, ladies and gentlemen, he said, in the future, there will be no sexes because we're going to put chemicals in the food and water in phase 1 to confuse gender. Then we'll have movements that unionize, is the term he used, the new genderless people. And then they're just going to completely break the family and have us raised in hatcheries. And the average human that serves the establishment will be a 3-foot-tall dwarf creature. This is the actual plan. And he said, but we'll probably just go with computers. That's just one track, one program of the globalists, he said, and his brother, who ran the World Eugenics Society, later founded transhumanism. They lay out the whole plan for this. And so when you open the news up, this is an exact plan. It's all a giant rollout, and it's being done to you, and they know you'll adapt to being genderless. You'll adapt to being killed. And so then they make that the new big cause celeb and the new market because they're doing it to you. I mean, this is the end of humanity, folks. First, they take our humanity away, and then they kill us. But first, they've got to destroy those archetypes. First, they want to twist us and vandalize us and have their way with us and deface us and have a little fun with us before they finally put our lights out. USA, land of the free, home of the brave. Every one of the check boxes for tyranny has now been checked and is warping to its most extreme incarnation. The magnitude of anyone protesting lockdowns aren't planned, or the roads aren't planned. And then this creation won't even matter. It's the beginning of the planetary extermination being carried out by Satan and his servants. It is an interdimensional alien attack. They're working with collaborators, ladies and gentlemen, who believe that they're going to merge with the system to become AI gods for their collaboration. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thought I'd just nouns. Martial law, house arrest, being banned off social media, banned off internet communications, banned off private messengers. That's where this is all going. It's now here. Is beyond North Korea. And then medical doctors who have good licenses, that are successful, that are well-spoken, say a bunch of stuff that's true. And they are taken down not just on YouTube, not just on Google. They're taking it down everywhere. It violates the community guidelines to not create fear. So they've weaponized and patented the cold virus. It gets rid of old people that Bill Gates wants to. They won't let you talk about what protects you. They threaten to arrest you if you talk about zinc or vitamin D3 or any of this. That's where we've gone. And then doctors get up and say you actually need to be in contact with pathogens to learn your immunity, which is totally true. People that are kept away from things, the ones that are sickly their whole lives. And those very doctors don't even have their speech in America on their own YouTube channel because it wasn't theirs. It belongs to the globalist. And they say, oh, just go start your own YouTube. Well, we have Band.video, and it's under constant attack. I mean, the level of attack you see is just the surface, folks. There's reasons I can't get into it, but it's bad. And it's again, escalating at every level. The secret police, all of it. And Trump has to level with the American people about this. I know he's good. He understands what's happening, but it's really a bad situation. And if you think I'm getting threatened, imagine what's happening with Tucker Carlson. There's Mayor de Blasio. My message to Jewish community and all communities is this simple. The time for warnings is past. I've instructed the NYPD to proceed immediately to summons or even arrest those who gather in large groups. This is about stopping the disease and saving lives, period. New York's incredibly corrupt. One of the most corrupt cities in the world, I'll have to tell you that. It's just a fact on its face. Prima facie. Why do they have 50 times more COVID-19 deaths than Texas? That's a big article up on Infowars.com. Well, it's a host of reasons, but New York's totally jacked into the globalist op, and they count everyone dying as COVID to get the $40,000. Hospitals in Texas have so many moral people still working in them, and there's so much of them are privately owned and not globalist controlled that they're not doing that. If you didn't die of COVID, they're not doing that in many states. That's still how Texas and the Midwest and places work. We don't just put our shoes on in the morning and, think about being master villains. No matter what, the FBI people think living up in New York. We're not you. We built this country. You understand that? And I mean not white people. I mean the idea of being a good, hardworking person who doesn't lie, cheat, and steal 24/7. I would be ashamed if I did anything like that. New York is a heart of evil. The rotten apple. And it's got tentacles shooting out like cancer all over the United States. A lot of good people in New York. But there's an escape from New York. Everyone is fleeing it. Everyone's fleeing Los Angeles. Everyone's fleeing San Francisco. They're fleeing Seattle. They're fleeing Portland because you people stink. You're evil. And when God is not there, evil comes in. But there are some deaths there in New York because they're crammed together. They're inside. They're not getting their vitamin D from the sun. And what did Malthus say 250 plus years ago? Look up Malthus's writings. I've read them. He said, this is a British eugenicist, exterminist, pre-Hitler, proto-Hitler, Hitler's great-granddaddy, basically, politically, said, herd all the poor into small, compact areas, build tall tenement buildings, stacking them one on top of another so that disease, famine, is brought to them by fleas and rats so as to kill off the poor once and for all. Look it up. I paraphrased it, but it's almost word for word. They want to kill you. New York City is an extermination camp, a giant re-education camp, a joke. All right, I want to get to the Tucker Carlson news, but I'm going to do this now, and then we'll go to break, and then I'm going to come back with the most powerful Tucker Carlson yet. But I'm just going to leave it at this. If you don't understand the point we've reached, you're insane. The globalists are master villain criminals. It's who they are. It's what they do. It's how they operate. They don't ever stop. They only get worse. The most radical of the New World Order people aren't ever radical enough because then even more radicals take over. It is a race to hell itself. So I will tell you that I used to spend 3% of my time and energy with a emergency plan, a evacuation plan. Now I spend 30% of my time. Now that's not giving up on the ship. I knew this was coming. I knew that he said 2020 is the year they say they'll launch their bio-attacks to test the world government. Then they'll have bigger ones that come by 2030. Most of us will be dead if they follow the plan. And folks, they're following a plan here. And I'm up here on air talking about this plan. And anybody in the government or law enforcement wanted to go look this up, they could look it up. But then what are you going to do realizing your bosses are part of a death cult and that Fauci and all these people are officers in the death cult? Well, you're just going to tell yourselves it's not true and live in denial and just hope, well, you're part of the system, so you're going to be okay. No, you're not. And God has given everybody a chance to see this coming and to be warned about it. You want to talk about tomorrow's news today, next year's news today? What about Revelation? The news of 2,000 years from now today. We got warned about the takeover plan, and it's proceeding exactly as they said they would do it. And now we're here, and they're not going to let you have dignity. They're not going to let you have your children. They're not going to let you have grandchildren. They're taking everything. Forever. And I know why they've launched their operations, even though they've been somewhat behind. It's because they know we know. They know we were choosing, because God gives us a chance to choose your own adventure, like those books that have different endings. It goes to the same place, basically, but there's different ways to do it. And people were breaking out on a new timeline that would bypass 90% of this. And the New World Order's like, that, we're not going to allow that to happen. Because they know everybody's fleeing the cities. They know you're getting into organics. They know you're waking up to what they're doing. And they can see how they're going to lose. So they're going to press it and bring in the most draconian systems in the name of saving their system. And that will only accelerate the quickening of their fall. So the birth pains are going to start coming really quick and really hard, folks. We're up against a very formidable enemy. But the second we actually study their own battle plans that are public, their criminal operation is so fantastical, it'll never succeed. But you have to admit it's going on, and you have to get prepared, and you've got to become self-sufficient. You need to start hiking. You need to learn to skin a buck and run a trot line. You need to grow a garden. You need to just get outside and turn off the television. You need to pray to God and get on your knees and ask God to lead you and direct you. And God will do that. You don't have to control it yourself. You can't. You have to turn it over to God. And that's really my most important message. And I will tell listeners this. It's a symbiotic relationship to keep us here on air like you've done has been amazing. And we've done important work together staying on air to be here at this critical time. They fought like the devil to get us off air. They tried to buy me off, everything else. Now they're threatening to kill me or put me in prison if I don't submit to them. But I can't submit. Because as scary as their threats are, where they're taking us if I submit is much worse. And so because we're able to see over the horizon and know what's coming, and we warn people, and now it's here, we have a lot of credibility. You have a lot of credibility. So you have to be leaders in your community. And you have to expose the New World Order agenda however you see fit and however God leads you. And you first, though, got to get self-sufficient. And that means success is not eating out at all those fancy restaurants. Success is not how cool your car is. Success is not, strutting around in front of, guys at the gym and, you've got a hotter wife than they do. Success is being informed and involved and pro-human, and the mission for our species to not just survive, but to thrive. And then if you jack into that energy, well, then the whole universe opens up. Then your ancestors and your instincts open up. Because let me tell you, in my experience, people that are evil might be cunning and they're being given very twisted, satanic direction, the mystery of evil. But they don't have access to God. They don't have access to their real instincts that God gave us. And they just have no idea what they're missing. It's actually very, very sad. But if you just simply get on the path towards believing in humanity and not buying into the fake leftist version of their defending humanity, they're saving humanity, when everything they do is about saying humanity sucks, humanity's a cancer, we need to get rid of humanity, men and women are bad, families are bad, the people that are happy suck, Well, we all know it's a lie. These are people that celebrate and go, okay, it is a baby inside the womb. I love killing it. I love taking its life. It makes me feel important to snub it out like a cigarette, take a crap on my own dead child. I get sexual pleasure. They say this everywhere. This is, imagine a satanic high priest saying, we love killing this baby and taking its life and humiliating it and pissing on God. And you think, oh my God, there's no such thing as Satan is doing that. Now they're publicly saying, me and my boyfriend love to get pregnant. He gets me pregnant and we wait till the baby's kicking and everything else. And then we go and we slaughter it and tear it in pieces. And I love it because I've got power. And you're just like, what the hell? You mean to play the clips here of that? You mean to read you the essays and the whole genre of porn that I didn't even know existed until last year when it was in the news? And I looked it up and was like, oh my God, this isn't real. And it was just, Twitter's just full of the pleasure of chopping your sons and daughters to death and writing sick H.P. Lovecraft, It the Clown inspired garbage about how that child would have had hopes and dreams, but you cut it in pieces because you have power. For those of us that aren't jacked into that Satanism, we can't even see that they're doing it because it's so alien, it's so twisted, but it is. It's who they are. And the average Democrat is now rapidly converting from a fake, deceived bot that really believes they're going to have success and money and power by being victims of the state and part of it, to people that want to dominate and control and tear things down. They have been given over. I remember the first time I saw women at an abortion clinic when we were protesting it 25 years ago or so, walk by and go, I love Satan and I love killing babies. And back then I thought, oh, they're just doing that to mess with me because they know I'm a Christian. No. I've got hundreds of videos. You've seen them here where they're just like, I love Satan. And I feel so good when I bring women here to be killed. And the Satan gives me warm, glowing love when that woman's in there and that child's having its brains vacuumed out. And you're looking at a woman sitting there in a church lady outfit saying this, and you're like, what is this? This is someone jacked into pure evil who's gone, folks. They're gone. And as their power grows, our very existence enrages them. So let me just say this right now, then we'll come back with Tucker Carlson. If you're not getting prepared and if you're not getting ready in all the different ways that need to be done, you're crazy. And when I point that finger at you, 3 of the fingers are pointed back at me. I am absolutely understanding that you cannot save the general society. You can reach out to some people, try to wake them up, that's great, but you got to move on. People ridicule you, they attack you, they're already too far gone, folks. Just dust off your feet, let the dead bury the dead. Do not waste your time on them. Build up those that do care. Build up those that do have a chance. Build up yourself. Because I know as a person that loves God, and I know you love God as well, that you really feel for people you can't wake up. Broadcast the information everywhere, but just move on from that point. If they want to stay behind in this system, this doomed system, that's their issue. We got to protect ourselves. And it's been the season of generally trying to wake folks up before this got here. And now, if folks aren't awake now, you need to just move on. And let me tell everybody else this. Those of you that want to be in a bigger house, or those of you that want to still be at the country club, that's all going to be gone soon. And by the time the general public figures out that America's gone with the wind and ain't ever coming back, folks. America broke its contract with God, with Roe v. Wade. The judgment's coming. And so once the general public figures out that we're in a long, prolonged, dystopic, high-tech depression that just gets worse and worse and worse for many, many, many years out into the future, they're going to freak out and be dangerous as hell. You think you're seeing freak out and increased crime now, which has exploded? Armed robberies, murders, and all the blue states are up like 35 to 50-something%. It's going to be 500%, 2,000%. You're going to see hell on earth, in my view. And I've been holding back saying this, but I hope we can back it off, turn it back on. It's too far gone. There's going to be wars. You want famines? Folks, you want to be scared? They're going to release real bioweapons. So I'm just telling people, you better get yourself together. You better get together with your family. You better do some research, and you better get your asses like the Pilgrims did out of corrupt Europe to the New World. And the New World is the countryside. And I'm just telling you, you can't fix it. These big cities are going down, and it is really, really sad. But America's too satanic. It's too far gone. You just got to get together with your people and protect yourselves because it's going to be absolutely hellish. And you want to remove yourself from anywhere around leftists. And I wouldn't try to wake them up. I wouldn't even try to talk to them. They're gone, man. They are Satanist, period. A good place to start is high-quality storable foods. We have them. They've got to package them and get them out to you. Almost everybody else we know of. It doesn't sound real to say no one else actually has food and is shipping it, but no one that we've tested out actually did. Other than My Patriot Supply, get your orders in now. It goes right into the queue. In fact, they even told us, hey, quite frankly, we take care of your orders first. I'm like, wow. The point is, InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. Get your orders in now. They have them. And get your supplements and get your other products and boost your body's defenses in the best way you can. But I just got to tell you, for me, it's just absolutely a very sad point to have to come to you and say that I don't think, about an 80% chance it's over. Okay, we might be able to turn things around, maybe, but America doesn't appreciate what Trump's tried to do. They don't want to turn back on. They want to be hurt really bad, and the Democrats and the globalists will hurt your ass really, really bad. So I'm telling you, folks, you need to get prepared for the next Great Depression because they're going to use food to control every aspect of your life. This is a globalist, Marxist takeover. I really want to do the best job I can, and I don't want to be somebody that helps hurt the economy. They've even had big national news stories that were actually accurate, that they tracked it, and InfoWars did things like boost the stock market. Because a lot of people out there hear what we say, they know we do our research, and it already catalyzes what they already know to be true. And I don't say that this is going to kill a lot of people. In fact, cue that up if you can. I don't hear that enough, where Trump 5 weeks ago said, you want a lot of death? You keep this economy shut off, you're going to see more death than you've ever imagined. And the UN came out and said 130 plus million people are now going to starve to death in the next year. It was 33 million a week ago. And by the way, I don't just believe the UN. Those are real numbers. 10 million starve to death every year. The third world's totally dependent on the first world. And you don't get food there, there's no safety net. You die. And so, yeah, if we sit here and let tens of millions of extra people starve to death because we're all getting into the fear of Fauci and Gates and the mask and, oh, we're heroes because we're going along with it and this big fake social wave, then you have aided and abetted all that death, and you're going to get a depression, and you're going to get your livelihood destroyed, and you're going to get giant crime rates, and you're going to get millions that die who can't get regular health care, and that's all confirmed now. And medical doctors come out and they lay that out. And they get banned on YouTube. Just like Mount Cedars-Sinai, one of the top hospitals in the world, goes, yeah, the president's talking about this light therapy. It works incredibly. We snake it down your throat. You're already intubated with fiber optic into the lungs, and it kills it. They said, nope, you're banned too. So, because Bill Gates, who doesn't even have a medical degree, he's bought off the media. This is his emergence. It's his supervillain takeover. I told you he was getting ready for this for decades. He's been the villain of my films because he is who I say he is. And right now, they're like, you leave Bill Gates alone, or we're going to indict you. It's like, put a gun to your head. Help screw over the whole planet and kill everybody, or we're going to get you. Okay, fine. I mean, it's not a threat because I know your end game. I know who you are. I know what you're doing. My God. You think I just get up here and talk about Bill Gates and IBM and just like I'm just saying these things? He actually runs the World Eugenics Society. 7 robber baron families from the U.S. alone the British royalty's funding it too, funded Bill Gates' father to combine them into one supergroup. And then they go, oh, let's have a kid headed up. Let's have Bill, so he's the trendy, in the 1980s popping up. That's what this is. You don't play games with these people. And everyone's so scared of them, and no one will call them out. I don't wish any harm against Bill Gates. That could turn him into a martyr. I want what he represents stopped. I want the project of the New World Order killed. I do not want Bill Gates harmed. That's a perfect move for them. I predict they'll have an attempted assassination of Gates or something to make him a hero and a victim. That is not us, and I have nothing to do with that. The last thing we want is any harm to Hillary Clinton, Obama, Bill Gates, or any of these people. All right, let's go ahead and go to part of Tucker Carlson last night where he knocks it out of the park. He was on fire. We'll start the next hour. First-time callers, 877-789-2539, 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539. As the dystopia becomes reality. But we could turn the tide now. Now is the critical time. And their whole house of cards, their whole hype is teetering. It's so close to failing. People are seeing through it. All the professionals are coming out and saying this is all a big hoax. And they're being silenced. Alex Jones 2 years ago, now medical doctors today. Here it is.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Last night on this show, we played you a clip from a nearly hour-long video produced by two physicians in California, Doctors Dan Erickson and Artin Masihi. Likely many of you had already seen it. That video has had more than 5 million views on YouTube. In their presentation, the two doctors presented a flurry of data pointing to what we are currently learning about this virus and how it spreads. They recited pages of government statistics and then interpreted them in light of their own long clinical experience as doctors. At one point, they noted that the newly adjusted death rate in their state of California, which is much lower than anyone expected it to be, and they asked if government officials there should change their policies based on this new science. Watch.
We've seen 1,227 deaths in the state of California with a possible incidence or prevalence of 4.7 million. That means you have a 0.03 chance of dying from COVID-19 in the state of California. 0.03 chance of dying from COVID in the state of California. Does that necessitate sheltering in place? Does that necessitate shutting down medical systems? Does that necessitate people being out of work?
So whatever your view of the mass quarantines, and maybe you're enthusiastically for them, the questions you just heard are valid questions. In fact, they're critical questions. We should all be asking those questions, including and especially our policymakers. But as Dr. Erickson pointed out later in the video, dissent of any kind is no longer tolerated in this country. Fact-based honesty, which is the soul of science, is under attack, even in hospitals. Dr. Erickson described physicians being pressured to classify illnesses and deaths as related to coronavirus, whether they believe that to be true or not.
We aren't pressured to test for flu, but ER doctors now, my friends that I talk to say, it's interesting, when I'm writing up my death report, I'm being pressured to add COVID. Why is that? Why are we being pressured to add COVID? To maybe increase the numbers and make it look a little bit worse than it is? I think so.
So what you just heard, what Dr. Erickson described, is called lying. And lying has no place in science ever. It's scary to think it takes place on a large scale in hospitals. He says it does. Viewers of Erickson's video were shocked and transfixed by this. They forwarded the video to friends who forwarded it on to their friends. And suddenly, millions of people who have spent the last 6 weeks on a diet of Tiger King and internet memes were watching sober-minded medical researchers reading from charts of statistics. It's hard to recall a science video taking off like this one did. Not everyone was impressed by it. Some criticized the doctor's policy conclusions, and of course that's fair. Decent people have different opinions. We're not entirely certain what the perfect response to this pandemic is. Nobody is certain. There's no objective answer at the moment. At best, we can plod along with open minds and good faith. More informed debate is exactly what we need to make wise decisions going forward. Unfortunately for all of us, informed debate is exactly what the authorities don't want. They want unquestioned obedience.
All right, when we come back, I'm going to get to the really key part he's starting to get to here, but let me explain. I could do this, you could do this. And that's why you should all, when you see something like these doctors, you shoot your own video and then add a clip of them. Anybody can do this with video editors now. I don't care if you're an old lady, an old man, a young man, black, white, polka dotted. You have to get in the InfoWar, and you can go get USA Today.